Every 4 years, the World Cup does something no other tournament can. It doesn't just crown champions, it creates legends. In 90 minutes, it takes a name that most of the world has never heard and etches it into football history forever. The 2026 FIFA World Cup, the biggest in history, 48 nations, 3 host countries, more games than ever before, has just kicked off across North America. And while Messi walks into his swan song and Ronaldo chases one final miracle at 41, there is a new generation of footballers who didn't come here to watch. They came here to take over. These are not prospects. These are not boys with potential. These are players who have already broken records, won trophies, embarrassed legends, and made entire stadiums rise to their feet. The question isn't whether one of them will define this tournament. The question is which one. Here are the 10 Wonderkids you absolutely must watch at the 2026 World Cup. Let's start with what Gilberto Mora has already done. At just 16, he started in a major international final at the Azteca and helped Mexico beat the United States to win the 2025 CONCACAF Gold Cup, becoming the youngest player ever to win a senior international tournament. He broke a record set by Lamine Yamal just 12 months earlier. He is now 17 years old, the youngest player at the entire 2026 FIFA World Cup. But here's what makes this story even richer. Gilberto Mora is not the first footballer in his family. His father, Gilberto Mora Sr., was a professional footballer himself, and his agent is none other than Rafaela Pimenta, the same woman who represents Erling Haaland. When your agent is the person who manages the world's greatest striker, expectations come preloaded. He models himself on Hugo Sanchez, Mexico's greatest ever player, the Real Madrid legend who terrorized defenses across Europe in the 1980s. He's one of the biggest figures of Mexican soccer. Mora has said, "We're missing that belief in ourselves. I think Mexico has everything it takes to be champions." There's no timidity in that statement. There's no deference to age. There's just a 17-year-old who won a Gold Cup final, has both Real Madrid and Barcelona tracking his every move at this very tournament, and believes with complete sincerity that Mexico can win the World Cup on home soil. He may be right, he may be wrong, but if El Tri get a run going, this kid will be right in the middle of it. Defenders are not supposed to be on lists like this. Defenders are not supposed to score Bundesliga goals of the season with scorpion kicks, and 19-year-old defenders on loan from Tottenham are most certainly not supposed to be voted the best player in Germany at the halfway point of a Bundesliga season, ahead of Harry Kane. Luka Vušković breaks every rule. The 19-year-old Croatian stands 1.93 meters tall, which gives him an immediate aerial advantage over virtually any striker in world football. At Hamburg this season, he won 67.6% of all his duels, the best success rate in the entire Bundesliga. He wasn't just good, he was statistically dominant in a top 5 European league at the age of 19. Then there's the goals. 6 in 28 Bundesliga appearances, from a center-back. One of them, that scorpion kick, was officially voted the league's goal of the season. Croatia's best ever defenders have included some of the finest in European history. Luka, Simunic, Srna. Vušković looks like the next chapter. What makes him most important to Croatia at this World Cup is what he represents structurally. Luka Modric, 40 years old, leading his nation one final magnificent time. But behind the veterans, quite literally in defense, is a 19-year-old who is already among the best young center-backs in Europe. The old generation and the new, sharing the same pitch, trying to do something extraordinary together. Watch how Croatia's opponents try to go through him. Watch how that goes for them. His full name is Rayan Vitor Simplicio Rocha. He was born in Rio de Janeiro on August 3, 2006. Rayan came through Vasco's academy and was so electric that by his second full senior season, he had scored 14 league goals and attracted interest from Barcelona, Bayern Munich, and Real Madrid, all before his 19th birthday. He joined Bournemouth in January 2026 and has since scored 5 goals in his first 15 Premier League appearances. Brazilian journalists have already made a comparison that stops you in your tracks. They see echoes of Adriano, the Emperor, in Rayan's game. That ferocious, left-footed shooting from distance that makes goalkeepers genuinely nervous. The physicality, the relentlessness. For Brazil, this World Cup was supposed to be about Estevao. Then Estevao got injured, and the script changed. Carlo Ancelotti, no stranger to finding a new plan, knew what he had in Rayan after coaching him briefly at Real Madrid. He made the call. Brazil don't hand out World Cup spots to 19-year-olds for sentiment. They do it because they believe in what they see. And what they see in Rayan is a right winger, playing on his wrong side, delivering with his left foot, pace, power, and a shot that the Brazilian press says belongs to an era they haven't seen since Adriano was in his prime. Born in Regensburg, Bavaria, to a Turkish father and German mother, Kenan Yıldız joined Bayern Munich's academy at the age of 7. He grew up in Germany. He played for Germany at youth level. And when the moment came to choose Germany or Turkey, he chose the Crescent Star. Turkey was always close to my heart, he has said. Since childhood, they've supported me. His first international goal came against Germany, in Berlin, with a strike into the top corner that announced him to the entire world in one devastating moment. It was so unreal, he said. You could see on his face that it was. At Juventus, Yıldız now wears the number 10 shirt, the jersey that once carried the names of Michel Platini, Roberto Baggio, and Alessandro Del Piero. That is not a number Juventus hand to teenage prospects. That is a number they give to players they believe are going to define their era. Yıldız finished the 2025-26 Serie A season with 10 goals, 7 assists, and 17 total goal contributions. Consistently among the best attacking players in Italy, his game is built on feints and acceleration, a style that makes him one of the standout dribblers in Europe's top 5 leagues, able to shift defenders onto the wrong foot in the blink of an eye. He's already made 28 appearances for Turkey and scored 5 international goals. And now, alongside Güler, who wasn't even born the last time Turkey played at a World Cup, he's ready to write an entirely new chapter in his nation's history. 2 players, born in the same year, both from German clubs originally, both choosing their hearts over convenience, both ready to finally show the world what Turkey's class of 2005 can do. Born and raised in Spain, Nico Paz could have chosen a different path. Instead, he chose Argentina, the country of his roots, the country his father, Pablo Paz, represented at the 1998 World Cup. Pablo never quite got his moment on football's biggest stage. Nico Paz is determined not to let that happen. Twice in one family. At Como, working under Cesc Fabregas, himself one of history's great creative midfielders, Paz evolved from promising prospect into something genuinely dangerous. 12 goals, 7 assists. He helped Como qualify for the Champions League for the first time in the club's 119-year history. Fabregas, who has seen every type of creative player up close, said of Paz, "I follow him close. He has quality. He always demands the ball, regardless of whether he is marked or not." Opponents at Como have started treating him the way they treat Messi, trying to deny him time and space, crowding him out before he receives the ball, because once he has it, the game changes. On his Argentina debut against Bolivia in a World Cup qualifier, at 20 years old, he provided an assist for Messi in a 6-0 win. His first touch on international football was to set up the greatest player in history. Most recently, in Argentina's final pre-tournament friendly against Iceland, Paz started and led all players with 4 shots in 58 minutes, forcing a save from the keeper and looking every inch a player ready for this stage. Real Madrid have already exercised their buyback clause. After this summer, he goes back to the Bernabeu as one of the most expensive players in the world. But right now, at this World Cup, you get to see what Argentina's next number 10 looks like before all of that happens. Watch his left foot. Watch his patience. Watch what happens when his father's unfinished business becomes his own. 5 players, 5 countries, 5 stories, with the ending still unwritten. The World Cup has always done this. Taken the young, the unknown, the overlooked, and given them the stage their talent always deserved. Some of these players will exceed every expectation. Some will be held back by injuries, tactics, or the cruel randomness of tournament football. And somewhere in this group, there is almost certainly a name that will be on every lip by the time the final whistle blows. We just don't know which one yet. But that's why we watch.